Previously on The Altars. The technician and Shrink broke off from the group, and those that remained almost got killed in a sandstorm.
Hello? This is Jan Dolsky.
Jan, you're alive. Well, thank goodness. We'd lost hope completely. Now, let's get you out of there. I want a full rundown of the situation.
There was a sandstorm and all kinds of trouble. But I'm back online, and I think I'm finally at my destination. Are you in charge of the rescue now?
Yes, I am. Dr. Maxwell will not be a problem anymore. He's been discharged from his duties with immediate effect.
What about Lucas?
Mr. Pena displayed a reprehensible lack of loyalty to his employer, and he will suffer the consequences. For the time being, we've cut all communications with his station. A replacement is on the way. Of course, he'd been Maxwell's close associate for a long time. We could have predicted that if one goes astray, the other would follow. In a way, I can imagine how dealing with both of them might have had a seductive effect on you. But personally, I have to say it breaks my heart that you let them pull you into that lunacy.
Maxwell saved my life. And without his help, there'd be no Rapidium for you to retrieve.
Let's leave those explanations, feasible or not, for later. The details of your mission will be subject to a thorough investigation, and I'm sure you'll get a chance to speak up for yourself. You should know, however, that Dr. Maxwell was trying to use you and the success of your mission to revive a regrettable procedure.
Yeah, I suspected as much.
So, I suppose that means he shared some of those pseudo-philosophical ideas of his with you. I'm sure he never told you the truth about why we shut down his hideous experiments.
He and Lucas shared a theory about it.
Let me guess. Was it a heart-wrenching tale of how the corporation didn't acknowledge a true genius?
Can you just tell me your version?
It's not a version. It's what actually happened. Facts easily verifiable, if you ever had the need to do it. Of course, the details of the case have never been disclosed to the public. No wonder. It would make the company look very bad if it ever got out.
So what happened?
One of Maxwell's test subjects, a soldier, ran away from his lab and committed suicide in one of our offices. Although the word suicide doesn't quite give the act proper justice, he basically ripped himself to pieces with his bare hands. People were watching. Security cameras caught it. Otherwise, I would never have believed it.
What? But why?
Exactly. Why? Turns out there was a lot going on in Maxwell's lab we didn't know about. He altered people's minds as if they were machines. made them switch personalities, enforced inconsistent memories on them, only to erase them and try again. Every time, the procedure left a trace in those soldiers' minds, left them more and more confused about who they are. His documentation revealed horrendous things. Records of overlapping flashes from contradictory realities, nightmares, panic attacks, identity disorders. None of it ever reported by Maxwell. He kept the truth hidden so that he could continue his work, no matter what the cost. Driven by some irrational obsession to enhance the human cognitive system.
That's just sheer madness, and to think he tried to convince me to trust him. I'm so glad I didn't.
He convinced you into enough wrongdoing, creating those copies of yourself. It is a prohibited act, both by law and the rules of bioethics. But I know you were coaxed to do it, and whatever your true motives, it did help you secure Rapidium. That's why I am giving you a chance to redeem yourself. Forget about Maxwell. Wipe the slate clean. From now on, you're to follow my instructions closely. Mine and only mine. And we'll have no secrets from each other anymore. Do we have a deal?
Just get me out of here.
Of course. I'll need you to do two things for me. One, construct a beacon for the rescue ship, so that they can locate you precisely.
And two?
Two is a little more complicated. You see, the rescue team cannot find out about your alters, as you call them.
What? Why?
Safety reasons. You know how it is. The more pairs of eyes see them, the more mouths will need to be controlled. And if the public is to be informed about this byproduct of your mission, it is best that it happens by means of an official corporate communication channel. It's enough that your ex-wife knows, and now also Dr. Paulson, it seems.
I'd prefer it if we didn't touch on personal matters.
So you think this is not my problem? Lena getting one of our top bioengineers to help you cure those creations of yours.
I never asked for that.
Don't worry. We'll keep them both out of the way during your trial. But trust me, it's better for everyone if no more people find out. So, you'll have to smuggle your alters onto the ship somehow.
How am I supposed to do that?
Remember, the rescue team will be fully committed to retrieving Rapidium. They do not expect to find anyone other than you down there. So all you need to do is be smart about it and use their distraction to your advantage. Fail to fulfill those conditions and I cannot guarantee the safety of your companions.
Seriously?
I've received information about the time of the rescue ship's arrival. They will land just before the sun rises on your planet. So, it will need to be a swift and well-organized boarding procedure. I'll contact you again shortly before they arrive. Start with setting up that beacon. And let's make history together, Jan.
To the safer evacuation.
Looks like I'm done. Should I go there next? I'm done here. Should I do this now? Holy fuck. What's happening to me? Those rocks, they're shaped like trees. What are they really? Would you look at that? I found my Boy Scout badge. Go fierce ocelots. Must be the tour vehicle. At least I know which way they went. See me? We need to talk. And cargo left. Maneuvering here must have been a nightmare. You wanted to talk. Are you feeling better about your memories? Yeah, almost. I've been thinking about all this. The purpose of my life. I have to say it's not easy, even if you give it time. And there's one thing that could help me feel more grounded. My tattoo. Remember? First thing I noticed when I woke up. I'm really missing it. Do you think there's a way I could recreate it? Man, I'd love to get me a tattoo as well, but do you seriously think I'd know how to do it? I mean, I'm useless at drawing. Besides, you don't really think we have the proper equipment in here. Come on, Jan. You're being creative about a lot of things in here. And I'm sure some of us know how to draw. It's not just any tattoo. It was part of my identity, and I feel incomplete without it. What was it? Sisyphus. The Greek hero who rolled a stone up a hill over and over again. I can see why you identified with him. Being a medical aid worker in a hunger-stricken region must have been tough. I did identify with him, but for a different reason. You see, my life took the form of repetitive cycles too, just like his. For some time, I felt I was making a great effort rolling that stone up the hill, gaining ground in the everlasting race to become a better man, when suddenly, something would always happen to diminish all those efforts. Make me loathe myself again. Drop that stone back to the foot of the hill. Loathe yourself? How can you say that? Your life was probably the closest any of us could ever get to being perfect. You say I should be proud of saving Mom's life. What if I told you there was nothing noble about what I did? What do you mean? One day, out of the blue, Dad just appeared in my office. I was a young doctor then, and we'd been estranged for years. Turned out Mom wasn't feeling well. And since there was a long waiting line to a specialist, he thought he could use my connections. Just like that. You know our parents couldn't afford private health insurance, and going through the public system would take ages. So, Father thought I could sweet talk a senior doctor or two. Huh. I'm amazed the old man cared for her after all. Maybe he thought it would be a good opportunity to order me around again. I didn't become a doctor to make my parents happy. I wanted to follow Edgar's suit. Be true to his ideals. He was the one who raised me. I was working for a community hospital, and I promised myself to be unbiased, never to put any patient before another, no matter how unwanted or self-destructive they were. But I broke that promise. I did exactly what I swore I'd never do. I failed them. And I failed myself. What are you talking about? You loved your mother. There's nothing more natural than that. What good is a doctor when he has no human feelings? Was it love, really? What if I did it because I felt guilty for being a bad son? So, I shut my eyes and played a few rounds of golf with people whose work ethic I despised. Of course, I was glad she lived, but still, I felt so weak, so worthless. Edgar never said anything, but he was disappointed with me, all right. That's why you went away to the other side of the world? To prove that you were strong? I was confused, and I wanted to feel free from any personal obligations, feelings, judgments. But I fell in love with the mayor's wife. She was the head of the charity organization I worked for. Long story short, I ended up destroying a family and blowing up a respected charity, so there you have it. The walking ideal. Okay, I think I can see the pattern you're talking about. Rolling the stone up the hill, only to drop it just below the summit. Imagine carrying all that guilt inside of you just to learn that the only positive outcome of it all, Mom's life, ain't even true. Just give me my Sisyphus back, okay? We're going back home soon. Any thoughts? It's been a ride. And we're all heading back to the place we were running away from. Every one of us for a different reason. At least that's what should be happening. We should all be going back. Only a few more days, and we're getting out of here. How do you feel about that? I'm hopeful. You know, we're a bunch of good people, and we did something really amazing for the world. So, whatever happens, I'm good. Just a little sad that we didn't make it as a team. Would have been nice to celebrate together once we're on that ship. Why were we even arguing? It's so...
all done here. Should I help with this now?
thought you'd like to know that I ran into a completely new kind of anomaly. First thing that came to my mind was that it's some sort of a prism distortion. Really? What gave you that thought? Well, it behaved as if the reality around me suddenly split up into many different fragments. Wise of you to bring it to me. Any observations on interaction? Well, it didn't seem to do anything specific to me physically. No radiation. But it sure was messing with my brain. Felt as if I was in several different places at once. In a way, you might have been. Huh? You mean? Remember how I told you that anomalies are places where our world intersects with the integral? Well, what you're describing suggests a distortion in which it comes into contact with not one, but many proximity planes. Entering it is likely to evoke a sensation of being in several parallel realities at the same time. Calling it a prism is accurate, because it refracts your consciousness into many simultaneous states. Shit. As if I didn't have enough reasons to lose my sanity around here. Oh, good point. You'd best not spend too much time inside them. Plus, I suppose it must make exploration very inconvenient. Can I destroy them like the others? It should be possible. You just need to locate all of its cores and take them down one by one. All right. Thanks for the tip. So, the doc wants me to recreate his missing tattoo, but I'm not sure how to go about it. You think you could help? It should portray the Greek hero Sisyphus. You've come to the right man. I took an art course during my post-grad years. I think I should be able to come up with a professional composition. But of course, if you want to explore other options, I won't be offended. So, this is it. The last stretch. How are you doing? I'm pretty excited and anxious. I mean, this is what I've been waiting for. Going back to Earth, being closer to Lena. We're so close. I need to focus. So, the doc wants me to recreate his missing tattoo, but I'm not sure how to go about it. You think you could help? It should portray the Greek hero Sisyphus. Oh, the one who rolled a rock up the hill incessantly. Not bad for a tattoo. I'm not a professional artist, but I wasn't bad at art in school, so I suppose I could give you a simple design. Or maybe the others have more experience in graphic stuff. You could ask around.
Where are the other deposits? Where did the rebels go? Find out next time on The Altars.